Hi, it's Rich Hoffman here. So I personally am a fan of this Stargate project, this open AI kind of thing with Larry Ellison and the gang that was launched on the first day of Trump's presidency. And I know a lot of people are skeptical of it. A lot of the people that I'm best friends with or most friendly with are certainly very anxious about technology. They don't really like this partnership. They don't like to see Trump hanging out with the technocrats. But I get it. I understand, and I kind of like it. I like this idea of the AI technology emerging. And I would just say that, again, while I understand, if I want good quality stuff, I usually find somebody who's Amish that made it. Good Amish food, good Amish woodwork. They're people who stay traditional and keep it classy. They're good people, and I love to see them thrive. So when I want something good, I usually go to the Amish. But they also are people who said, no to technology. We don't really want a lot of power goods. We don't want this modern world. We're going to stay close to Scripture, stay close to God, and we're going to live good, honest, authentic lives, which I think is a good idea. It's a good policy. That's why I like the Amish. But we're talking about technology here. I do like technology as far as what it can do in intelligence, because I have a love of intelligence. I don't necessarily like technology. Anybody who knows me, I get mad at technology a lot. I'm certainly one who gets mad at people. I don't like that my TV can be turned off by some stringy-haired millennial that sits in some office cubicle somewhere and can just mess around with you, or some intelligence agencies that can mess up your internet signal, because everything's through internet signal these days. When you have a problem with your TV or a router or a sound system, you can call up somebody and they can plug right into your system and fix it and troubleshoot it from wherever they're at. And if they can do that, they can mess with you if you're watching a TV or it's a good football game, and all of a sudden you get a bad internet signal, or you get some troubleshooting message on your TV, and you got to stop it and restart it and start all over right in the middle of the action. I'm one. It's always I've been known to throw a few TVs across the room and out through windows, and get very violent about technology doesn't work for me. I get very mad. Very mad. I don't like, in some ways, I like the old days where you just turn on a TV and it worked and no one can mess with it. It picked up the signal, it was floating around in the air, and there wasn't any exchange artists in between that could tamper with your experiencing that technology. While a lot of that stuff is better resolution, better sound, better content, more options, you still have too many people who play around with your experience of that technology and can bring you a lot of irritation, and they can manipulate things, and I don't like that. And that's what the big fear with AI is, that AI is going to be in our blood cells. They're going to be all over monitoring us, because Larry Ellison himself has said, this is part of the surveillance state. We're going to surveil everything. We're going to know everything about everybody all the time. And that's the dream of tyrants, is to have universal control over everybody at all times. You have no freedom or autonomy whatsoever. I understand all that. I get it. I think you really can't avoid the surveillance state these days, because technology is everywhere. Your personal phones, it's watching everything you're doing. It's very hard to stay off the radar now with the kind of technology that's available, and that's a problem. And it's certainly something that we have to scrutinize. And if you want to maintain your freedom and your sovereignty, there's going to be a continued dialogue. However, all the things that Trump wants to do, you have to have a splash. You have to have something that's going to generate trillions of dollars in an economy. And that's why on day 2, he brought these guys that had been working against him. Larry Ellison has not been a Trump fan. A lot of those OpenAI guys have not been working closely to make sure Trump gets the things he wants in the previous times. They're World Economic Forum monsters in a lot of ways. But they also, like all things in life, you have an advancement of human progress. And what does that mean? And what role does artificial intelligence play in that? And I tend to be the kind of person that thinks that I won't have any problem mastering artificial intelligence. I don't ever see a time when will be replaced by artificial intelligence. I play with it enough now with some of the stuff that's out there, and I think the Gronk thing on Elon Musk's X platform is quite useful. It's like having your own personal droid, like a C-3PO from Star Wars. You can ask questions and it can give you an answer and you can do little things. But I don't think human beings, because human intelligence is rooted in far more than just X's and O's. And I've talked about that with artificial intelligence before. I see it enhancing human life, not hindering it. And I know a lot of people are going to have problems trying to reconcile that, and that's going to be the cure for cancer, and be able to get in and do gene editing. And if you have a sickness in your DNA structure, you just restructure it and get rid of the sickness. So what does that mean for longevity and health and life and your relationship with God? Those are complicated problems we're all going to have to solve together. But they're worth solving, and I think the advancement of intelligence only makes us better. And to do the kind of expansion of economy and the move into space that we're going to be doing, you don't necessarily want humans doing every little thing. You want them out there. You want intelligence out there advancing the human plot. But humans don't necessarily need to be part of every little bit of it. And I don't see humans losing to super AI or super intelligence. Just like a calculator might be able to calculate large numbers where humans aren't so good at it. It's the imaginative efforts that come from humans that are attached to multidimensional realities that ultimately make our intelligence different and specific and special, and will carry that way into the future. And that's where I think AI is going to head. So I'm not nervous or worried about AI. If AI is going to exist out there in the world, I want America to lead it, and I want it to support a Trump economy with trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of additional resources and economic expansion. I also want AI to take us into space. I want it to drive all these vehicles that are going to be going back and forth from Mars and other planets, and doing all kinds of great things, so that frees up humans to go do human things. We don't want to be caught doing. I know the fear is that robots and AI are going to replace the human workload, but in an expanding economy that grows by trillions of dollars, and if your race doesn't expand at the same rate, you still have to have intelligence working all those advancements. So I don't see a downside to all those relationships. I don't see a downside to AI. And I think a lot of the anxiety comes back to the same debate that the Amish had. Do we want to advance ourselves? Or are we going to go accept the car? We're going to stick with the horse and buggy. A lot of Amish people voted for Trump because they saw that the best way to preserve their life was through Trump. But you got to be a lot of things, and you got to have a good economy if you're going to go out and do the big things that Trump wants to do. That's free up energy, get a big blast on the energy sector front. But then you have to have new technology, new emerging structures that come along, business sectors that had never been conceived of before, or never even a possibility, and an expansion of intelligence, whether it's artificial or human, to make humans more productive, I think is nothing but good to come out of that. And as far as people doubting whether there's cures for cancer, there's been cures for cancer for a long time. I don't think Larry Ellison explained it well enough what this open AI kind of platform Stargate is going to do. I think he was talking about you can go to your doctor, a doctor can then give a better report through AI to the patient and explain to them what's really going on so they can fix it. I don't think he went deep enough to explain what the real value was. I think the situation there, even though he's one of the billionaires of the world, is still overwhelming. Here you are with Trump. Here you are with an opportunity you didn't think was going to happen. Here's a bunch of people who are former enemies breaking bread with Trump there in the Oval Office. I think even for him it was a little bit too much, and I don't think he explained it well enough. But the trick on AI is going to be identifying, reading your DNA strand, and then fixing the little problems that emerge through age or through genetics that are causing you to be sick on something, and giving you a higher quality of life a lot longer so you can be productive longer. And what role God plays in all that, people are going to have to figure out and rectify. But I would say that God's a part of all intelligence, whether it's humans that create an intelligence to expand on what they already do, and they find through artificial intelligence faster ways to do it. It's still intelligence, and intelligence is still part of God's kingdom as far as I'm concerned, and the original intention of creating the human race. These are tools that we've come up with to satisfy the original plot, and it's up to us to make sure that the battle between good and evil occurs along the philosophical lines that keep everybody within the right boundaries, that they don't get away and become instruments of evil. But it's going to happen regardless of whether or not we become Amish people or whether we embrace technology. Just as it is in certain sectors of people say, you know, I'm going to stick with the campfire, you stay with the stove. I don't want to be a part of that kind of stuff. And you can make a decision whether to embrace it or not. But as far as economic value and Trump and making America great again, it's good when you can take your former enemies and get them pointed in a direction that actually is beneficial for all of human civilization. That's what you want to be doing. And I think what Trump has done now with embracing the Stargate project, whether or not Elon Musk says they have the money or not, and there's rivalries that come up because it's like a bunch of jealous siblings arguing over dad's affections. Whatever it is, I think the competition is good. I think the sentiment is right on point, the way it should be. I think everyone's going to benefit from this Stargate technology that is going to allow artificial intelligence to enhance the human experience, and I don't see it taking over and running like a Terminator program. You gotta remember all those old dystopian films and the way Skynet was invented to make Terminators that came back and wanted to kill all humans as rivals. All those people who came up with those, like Jim Cameron, he's a big-time lefty. All these lefty guys have fear as their primary motivation for why they do anything in life. So while they have interesting points to say, and there's interesting points about the Terminator films, and how AI or artificial intelligence or robotics get out of control, there is still based on a fear of that technology. In my experience with AI so far, you can kind of watch how that progress goes and watch how AI makes itself smarter and better. And what's its primary function to exist? And is it going to take over? I don't think so. I think it will always be a dog to the human race. It will always, you might want to buy a dog for companionship. You might want to buy a dog to bark, so strangers don't come to your house when you're not there. It's nice to have a dog around to help enhance your life. But I don't see the dogs taking over the world. I don't see artificial intelligence taking over the world. I think they will always seek as their foundation of existence to appease the human race. And no matter how smart they get, they still are going to be a dog. And they're still going to want to serve humans. And I think it's up to us to put our arm around that, embrace and expand intelligence wherever we can, because that's ultimately what will make everything better. Starting with Trump's vision of bringing enemies in and working together with everybody to sort of advance culture quickly, so that there's economic viability to all the things he wants to do to make America great again and actually make the world great. You have to have a big splash, and this is one of those big splashes that can be worth trillions and trillions of dollars. And I think when they talk about it, they're being kind of shy about the potential outlook. But when you have a change state economy that comes along that's brand new, and the kind of things that cascade off of it are brand new, not even conceived of at this time. The opportunities are monumental. But it starts with vision, starts with political vision, and Trump has it, has the guts to do it. And also has the authority to do it based on life that he's lived and the reconciliation that he is now having with people who worked against him in the past, who suddenly want to be his best friend. And I think ultimately we'll all profit from the experience, and I'm a big fan. So I understand people who are anxious about it. I get the whole technology, being worried about technology taking over and ruining everybody's lives. The Star Wars movies were essentially an anti-technological message. It's better to go back to the Jedi, get back to nature, The fact that meditating technologies can turn you to a monster like Darth Vader. Again, the way lefties look at technology has been what shaped our impressions of what it can do, and that's why some people are terrified about AI. But I see the opposite. I think AI, knowing that we are its origins, will seek to always appease us the way dogs do. That doesn't mean you don't love the dog. It just means that the way they see humans are always going to be as a servant, not as a master. And that's ultimately how it's going to cascade down. And it's good to see Trump having that kind of vision and guts to do that on day one with people. This whole technology has been hanging in the background for a long time. And if China's going to do it, we should do it better, and we should be in charge of it and turn it for good instead of evil. But it will take constant vigor to do that. It's not going to be easy, but anything worthwhile usually isn't easy. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, though. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you ever read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, which I talk about these things in that book. I talk about the challenges of going from frontier, rugged, gunslinger life, pro-capitalism, and the challenges of AI and robotics and the change state economy. I wrote that a long time ago, years ago, well before it was this kind of reality, to kind of prepare people for it in a way that they can still maintain their authenticity and value as good Christians or good God-seeking people. And I have a lot of reverence for the Amish. Like I said, I respect the Amish's decision to reject technology and get it. But then, there's a lot of things in the world that technology has made a lot better. And I've talked about those in that book extensively to kind of put people at ease for what's happening now and how they can master it and not be victims of it. So if you haven't read that book, it might be a good idea. You might find you like it a lot. Well, have a good day. See you later.